Most of the Amsoil versus Pennzoil Ultra Platinum debate happens in the comments section. Someone posts a spec sheet, someone else posts a price comparison. Someone who spent 3 minutes on the Amsoil website posts their marketing claims and calls it closed. None of them brought a used oil analysis report to the conversation. None of them had one. The used oil analysis is where the argument, i.e. argument, actually lives. Not the spec sheet on the front end, not the marketing language on the back of the bottle, but what comes out of a turbocharged direct injection engine after 7,500 miles. And what the numbers reveal about what each oil was doing the entire time it was inside. That is the comparison this video is running. Start with viscosity retention, because this is where the base stock chemistry shows its hand first. Both oils go in as 5W30. After a full drain interval, Amsoil Signature Series typically comes out of the engine sitting between 10.3 and 10.8 centistokes at 100 degrees Celsius. That puts it solidly in mid to upper 30 weight territory, even after 7,500 miles of use. Pennzoil Ultra Platinum comes out at 9.5 to 9.9 centistokes under the same conditions. It has sheared slightly toward the high end of 20 weight behavior. Both oils are still within the 5W30 specification band. The gap is not catastrophic, but inside a turbocharged engine running regular boost pressure, or in a vehicle doing frequent short trips where fuel dilution builds up in the crankcase, the Amsoil's resistance to mechanical shearing is doing work that the Pennzoil is not. The base stock chemistry explains that gap. Amsoil Signature Series is built on a polyalpha olefin foundation. Group 4 synthetic. The molecular chains in a polyalpha olefin are uniform in a way that petroleum-derived molecules simply are not. And that uniformity is what gives the oil its mechanical shear resistance when the polymer structure is compressed under load at high temperatures. Pennzoil Ultra Platinum runs on a gas-to-liquid base stock, Group 3+, derived from natural gas through Shell's Pearl plant in Qatar. Gas-to-liquid base oil carries an extremely low NOx volatility footprint. Very little of it burns off in the combustion zone when temperatures climb, which is a genuine advantage in a high-heat environment. The trade-off is that under sustained mechanical stress at elevated temperatures, the gas-to-liquid structure shears slightly faster than a polyalpha olefin does. The centistoke readings after use are that trade-off made visible. The total base number is where the comparison becomes impossible to ignore. That measurement is the alkaline reserve built into the oil. The alkaline reserve exists to neutralize the acids that form inside the engine as combustion byproducts mix with the oil film on the cylinder walls, in the crevice volumes, and in the bearing journals. Every combustion event produces those acids. Every mile the oil stays in the engine, the alkaline reserve absorbs more of them. When the reserve is exhausted, the acids win, and the chemistry shifts from protective to corrosive. Amsoil Signature Series starts fresh with a total base number of 12.5 milligrams of potassium hydroxide per gram. Pennzoil Ultra Platinum starts at 8.8 milligrams of potassium hydroxide per gram. After a 7,500-mile run in a turbocharged direct injection engine, Amsoil comes out with a remaining total base number of 3.5 to 4.5. Pennzoil comes out at 2.0 to 2.8. That is the claim on both bottles: full synthetic protection. Change when the monitor tells you. The used oil analysis from a 7,500-mile turbocharged run is the evidence behind that claim. Amsoil finishes the interval with meaningful alkaline reserve still available. Pennzoil finishes close to its practical floor. Push either oil past 10,000 miles and the Amsoil's higher starting reserve becomes a structural advantage. Keep Pennzoil inside a 5,000 to 6,000 mile drain window, and the total base number difference becomes largely academic. The wear metals tell a closer story than most people expect. Iron from cylinder walls and camshafts comes out at 7 to 12 parts per million in Amsoil and 8 to 14 parts per million in Pennzoil. Copper and aluminum follow the same pattern. Copper from the bearings reads 2 to 5 parts per million in Amsoil, against 2 to 6 parts per million in Pennzoil. Aluminum from piston crowns runs at 2 to 4 parts per million in Amsoil against 3 to 5 parts per million in Pennzoil. None of those gaps are wide enough to declare one oil superior in wear protection at standard drain intervals. Both oils are doing solid work in a healthy engine. The Amsoil readings sit at the lower end of the range consistently. The difference is real, but not dramatic. The additive package breakdown is where the comparison produces a result most people do not see coming. Pennzoil Ultra Platinum carries more molybdenum than Amsoil, 65 to 85 parts per million remaining after use compared to 40 to 60 parts per million for Amsoil. Molybdenum is the friction modifier in a modern engine oil formulation, and Pennzoil leans on it harder. For a driver whose engine spends most of its life at light throttle, partial load, and low-speed city conditions, that higher molybdenum concentration is creating measurable friction reduction at exactly the operating conditions where metal-to-metal contact is most likely. Amsoil compensates with boron, 180 to 240 parts per million remaining in Amsoil after a full drain interval, against 120 to 160 parts per million in Pennzoil. Boron in its dispersant form keeps combustion byproducts suspended in the oil so they flow to the filter rather than settling on internal surfaces. In a long drain scenario, the dispersancy load matters more than it does at a short interval, and Amsoil carries the larger reserve to handle it. The magnesium readings follow the same pattern. Amsoil retains 700 to 900 parts per million after use. Pennzoil comes in at 550 to 700 parts per million. Both oils run magnesium alongside calcium as part of a detergent package designed to mitigate low-speed pre-ignition in modern turbocharged direct injection engines. Amsoil's remaining magnesium concentration means the low-speed pre-ignition suppression chemistry is still running, with more headroom at the end of the interval. The zinc and phosphorus readings close the comparison on the anti-wear side. Zinc dialkylethiophosphate in Amsoil reads 800 to 950 parts per million remaining after use. Pennzoil lands at 750 to 850 parts per million. Phosphorus follows the same pattern, 700 to 850 parts per million in Amsoil versus 650 to 750 parts per million in Pennzoil. Both oils sit well above the American Petroleum Institute's current service category threshold. Amsoil's higher starting load and slower depletion rate are consistent with what the total base number and boron numbers show across the rest of the report. An oil formulated to carry more chemistry further into the drain interval. The data does not produce the verdict either. Brand's marketing department would write, Pennzoil Ultra Platinum is not the inferior oil. The gas-to-liquid-based stock gives it a NOAC volatility advantage that polyalpha-olefin does not match. And the higher molybdenum concentration serves a city driver better than it gets credit for in most of these head-to-head comparisons. Run Pennzoil Ultra Platinum inside a 6,000-mile drain interval, change it on schedule, and the wear metals come back clean. The total base number is still functional and the oil did its job correctly. The Amsoil Signature Series advantage is real but specific. Higher starting total base number. Better shear resistance under sustained elevated temperatures. More boron for long interval dispersancy. More magnesium for low-speed pre-ignition protection through the back half of a long drain. Those advantages matter most if the drain interval runs past 7,500 miles, if the engine sees regular operation under boost at high temperatures, or if the driver is the kind of person who trusts an oil life monitor and does not open the hood until it reads 20% remaining. Neither of these oils fails. The used oil analysis tells you which operating scenario each one was designed to handle.